My beloved child, listen carefully. I was sent by heaven not to scare you, but to hold your hand while truth unfolds before your eyes. I, Archangel Michael, speak not in fire or fury today, but in calmness that shakes the soul. Because something has been whispered in the divine corridors. Your name, your energy, your destiny, has been tangled by someone who was supposed to love you. You see, heaven doesn't send alerts unless the spiritual weight has reached a boiling point. And tonight, heaven itself asked me to lean down, touch the corners of your room, and whisper into your spirit, the identity has been revealed. I want you to sit for a moment and breathe, not to panic, but to prepare. Because what I am about to share is not a warning, it is a healing revelation. The one trying to block your joy, slow your blessings, delay your miracles, was someone who once looked into your eyes and pretended they were safe. This message is not just information. It's medicine for your inner clarity. The person was close. Too close. Not a stranger. Not a shadow. Someone who knew how to smile while hiding a plan. But don't tremble. You are not alone. I have been circling around your house, your name, your destiny for days. I have seen the tears you cried in silence. I have felt the confusion in your chest. And I have come to deliver peace, not fear. I'm telling you today, they have been exposed in the spirit realm. Heaven has taken note of the conversations behind your back. Every word, every gesture, every manipulation, it has all been seen. And now, heaven says, no more delay, no more silence, no more pretending. I want you to understand something sacred. God allowed this message to find you today not to scare you, but to realign your truth. The person trying to block your path used to think they could stay hidden forever, but the divine clock struck revelation. And when heaven uncovers a thing, it is never to embarrass you, it is to free you. To set your mind free. To remind you that your discernment is not broken. You were never crazy for feeling off around certain voices. You were never paranoid for sensing something wasn't right. Your spirit was right all along. This confirmation is your relief. I, Michael, have already started moving things behind the scenes. You will begin to notice shifts. People will begin to reveal themselves, not because they want to, but because their spirit can no longer hold the secret. Your dream life might intensify. A face might come to you in a flash. You may hear a name suddenly, don't ignore it. The one who smiled and watched you fall, the one who held your hand but whispered your secrets away, their identity is now in God's light. And it's no longer yours to carry. Heaven will not let your soul carry weight that doesn't belong to your purpose. And that's why this message reached you in divine timing. I am standing at the doorway of your emotions. I'm placing divine peace in your chest. No more suspicion. No more guessing. Just truth, wrapped in light, prepared in love, and delivered with sacred timing. This isn't about revenge. It's about release. You have cried for clarity. You have begged in silence for a moment like this, not because you wanted to accuse, but because your soul was suffocating under confusion. Today, heaven responds. God whispered your name in the early hours and said, "Enough delay. Let them see. Let them feel peace again. Let them remember who they are." And so I, Archangel Michael, was dispatched with this sacred unveiling. No trumpet sound. No lightning. Just truth wrapped in softness. The kind of truth that doesn't shatter your soul, but finally lets it breathe. Because the person who tried to hurt you thought they had time. Thought they had cover. Thought they could outsmart the light. But what they didn't know was that your name was held by God all along. Your presence in their life was divine. Your love was a gift. Your kindness was protection. But instead of honoring what heaven gave them, they chose to compete, to compare, to conspire. And for a while, they felt they were winning. While you were breaking down behind smiles, they were walking taller behind lies. But grace doesn't sleep forever. And truth doesn't stay hidden when a child of God keeps praying. You see, every tear you cried became a petition. Every sleepless night became incense rising toward the throne. And when your pain reached heaven, a decision was made: you will no longer walk blind. I want you to sit with this. They didn't expect heaven to defend you like this. They didn't expect your name to be protected by angels. They didn't expect divine exposure to come through a message like this. But that's how heaven works. It protects without needing noise. It shields without needing permission. It exposes when the soul is ready to see. And now, you are ready. Not just to know who they are, but to understand why they did what they did. You were carrying light they couldn't handle. You were a reflection of what they tried to become. You were divinely chosen in an environment that secretly resented your calling. But I am not here to teach you bitterness. I'm here to remind you of powerful mercy. Because heaven is not showing you this person to create war. No. Heaven is showing you so you can finally walk away in peace. With no need for revenge. No need for proof. No need to convince anyone. Because when God reveals, He also releases. The burden is not yours to carry. The pain is not yours to feed. The confusion is not yours to unpack anymore. Let it go. Not because you're weak, but because heaven has something greater that can only arrive when your hands are free. There is something else I must tell you. That moment when you felt heaviness in your chest for no reason, it was not random. That coldness when they entered the room, it was not your imagination. That sharp ache when you tried to love them, but something kept breaking. It was your spirit responding to an unseen truth. And today, you're not crazy for feeling all of that. You were discerning. You were chosen. You were spiritually awake before your mind caught up. You have been walking through fire with your mouth closed and your heart wide open. And I saw it. I saw every moment you gave love even when you received shadows. I saw the way you carried people who would have never done the same for you. But now, it's your time. Heaven is pouring restoration over your spirit. And I'm here to hold the door open as you step out of that pain, not just knowing the name of the one who tried to harm you, but knowing that you don't have to carry their darkness any longer. They lost access to your destiny the moment they tried to dim your light. And no apology is required to confirm it. This is your closure. This is your clarity. This is your confirmation. And soon, your peace will be so loud, the same people who doubted you will wonder how you survived. And you will smile, not because they finally see, but because you now understand, heaven always saw you. There are moments when heaven doesn't wait for permission, it simply moves. And today, beloved, this is one of those moments. I, Archangel Michael, have descended not to accuse, but to break the chains of confusion that have wrapped around your heart like invisible rope. The person whose identity is now revealed was never stronger than your calling, but their proximity made the wound feel sharper. They didn't come dressed as danger, they came clothed in kindness. They wore your trust like a cloak. They smiled while studying your softness. And for a long time, you blamed yourself for sensing something dark behind their silence. But no more. Not after this. Because heaven has spoken, and the veil has fallen. This was not your fault. Let me say it again, this was not your fault. You loved with divine intention. You forgave like rivers. You gave your time, your energy, your prayers, even when your spirit was whispering that something was not right. That whisper was not anxiety. That was me. That was the divine trying to reach you in dreams, through pauses in conversation, through that feeling in your gut that never went away. You didn't imagine it. You felt it, and now you see it. The truth that has been hovering like fog is now clearing, and you are not standing in weakness anymore. You are standing in knowing. And there is a sacred power in knowing. I tell you this in love, the person who tried to hurt you was not sent by darkness. They were allowed for a season, to reveal the strength you forgot you had. They came to your life like a lesson dressed as loyalty. And though it stings now, one day soon you'll look back and say, that moment broke me open, but it built something unshakable inside me. Because what they couldn't take from you was your heart. And that heart, though bruised, is still beating with divine rhythm. You still carry the light. And heaven still calls you chosen. Now listen to me with the ears of your spirit. The moment you received this message, the divine courtroom began to move. Angels were dispatched. Energies were shifted. Your name was pulled out of old agreements. What was spoken in secrecy is now exposed in silence. They will feel the shift. They will sense the release. Not because you cursed them, but because you no longer carry their energy. You've been released. That heaviness? It's lifting. That fog? It's breaking. That confusion? It's evaporating. Why? Because truth carries frequency, and that frequency just found you. You don't need to confront anyone. The confrontation already happened in heaven. You don't need to get even. The scales have already been balanced. What you do now is rise. Quietly. Boldly. Spiritually. With your heart protected. With your mind sound. With your spirit held. This is not your breakdown, this is your becoming. There is a moment coming, soon, very soon, when you will be in the same room with the one who betrayed your presence. And you won't feel rage. You won't feel small. You won't feel shaken. You'll feel peace. Because God doesn't just expose, He elevates. And you, beloved, are being elevated into a realm where their name no longer has power over your emotions. You are being lifted above the confusion they tried to plant. You are stepping into a light they never imagined you'd find. And that's why they'll be surprised, not by what happens to them, but by how beautifully you recover. I tell you now, as one assigned to protect your name, you are not broken. You are becoming golden. You are not abandoned, you are being realigned. And the identity of the one who tried to harm you? It doesn't control your next chapter. It simply closed the last one. This is not just closure, my beloved. This is resurrection. This is revelation. This is release. There are moments in life when clarity doesn't knock, it crashes in softly, like wind lifting a curtain to reveal what's been hiding behind it all along. That's what today is, beloved. Not an interruption, but a sacred unveiling. You did not expect this. You didn't ask to be awakened by this truth. But heaven knows when your spirit has waited long enough in silence, and now it is time. Time to breathe again. Time to stop searching in the dark for explanations. Time to stop replaying conversations, wondering what you missed. Because you missed nothing. You sensed everything. You knew, but you waited for confirmation. And now, that confirmation has arrived like holy rain. Let me tell you what else I see. I see you standing before a door that was always yours. And the reason they tried to distract you, mislead you, or weaken your confidence was because deep down, even they knew you were about to walk into something they could never control. They saw your destiny before you did. They sensed the greatness in you that you kept hiding behind humility. And instead of celebrating it, they feared it. Instead of honoring your heart, they mishandled it. Instead of guarding your gift, they tried to gather your glow and use it to build their false image. But heaven is not mocked. What was stolen will be returned. What was used will be restored. And what was misunderstood, you, will now be recognized in the spirit realm by your true name. Your name is not confusion. Your name is not betrayal. Your name is not what they called you behind closed doors. Your name is favored, chosen, protected, watched over, anointed, restored. And today, I speak this blessing over you, not from human lips, but from the mouth of divine justice. You are being set apart. Not punished. Not forgotten. Set apart. Because the light God placed in you can no longer be surrounded by those who only wanted to drain it. I want you to hear something clearly. They didn't win. They didn't delay your destiny, they only exposed their own heart. And now that the veil is lifted, you are not left with bitterness, you are left with strength. You are not left with confusion, you are left with insight. You are not left with loss, you are being positioned for a harvest so full, even your past will have to kneel at your transformation. There is a reason God didn't allow you to fight back in the way your flesh wanted. Because this battle was never yours. It was spiritual. It was internal. It was deep. And heaven knew, if you just stayed still, stayed gentle, stayed soft, stayed you, justice would come in waves. And now, look around you, feel the air in your home. Something is lifting. Something is clearing. Your name is being removed from the mouths of liars. Your image is being removed from the minds of manipulators. Your energy is being protected in places your feet haven't even walked into yet. I tell you now, prepare for elevation. Prepare for peace that doesn't need explanation. Prepare for restoration that makes you forget how deep the wound was. Not because they finally said sorry, but because you finally stopped needing them to. Your healing is not waiting on their apology. Your breakthrough is not delayed because of what they planned. God has already rewritten what was tried in secret. And you, beloved, you are already walking into the next chapter while they are still stuck trying to understand how you're glowing in silence. Let them wonder. Let them watch. Let them whisper. But you? You will rise. You will smile again without pretending. You will rest again without pressure. You will trust again, not blindly, but divinely. Because now, you see. Now that the truth is standing before you, what do you do with it? You don't run. You don't fall apart. You don't try to fix the pieces that were never meant to fit. No, You breathe, child of light. You inhale peace, and you exhale the weight of every false connection, every manipulated moment, every twisted lie that tried to make you question your goodness. Because the exposure was never to humiliate you. It was to free you from believing that your softness was a weakness. It was to show you that your love, even when given to the wrong hands, still carries the power to heal, to break chains, and to open portals of transformation, not just for others, but finally, for you too. I, Archangel Michael, have stood watch over your soul when you didn't even know danger was near. I have wept with heaven over the nights you couldn't sleep, wondering why love always felt like a battlefield, why trust kept turning into disappointment. But now heaven says, this is your release. Not just from a person, but from the belief that you were ever the problem. You are not too much. You were just surrounded by those who were never enough to hold your truth. And now? Now you will begin to attract connections that recognize your soul before your face, people who respect your silence more than others praised your performance, voices that see your heart even when your lips don't speak. That's what this message was sent to do. To realign you. To cleanse the air around your name. To anoint your path with clarity so precise that you'll never again mistake attention for love. Let me tell you what comes next, because this is not the end of your story. This is not even the climax. This is the divine turning point. Soon, very soon, a conversation will happen that you didn't chase. A message will arrive that you didn't expect. And in that moment, you will see the proof of what I've told you. The name, the energy, the plot, it will all unfold not to hurt you, but to heal you through validation. Not because you need revenge, but because the divine wants you to walk into your blessings light, whole, and without unanswered questions in your chest. What the enemy meant to break you, God has already used to shape you. What they said in darkness is now powerless against your light. And the ones who sat in circles and spoke of you, they will now sit in silence, stunned by the way you rise without announcing it. You don't need to shout. You don't need to prove. You don't need to explain. Because when God restores a soul, He does it so deeply that even the wounds lose their scars. And this is your season of scarless healing. This is your hour of heaven-backed redemption. You're not going back to who you were before the betrayal. You're going forward into the version of you that betrayal birthed, wiser, kinder, untouchable, and divinely guarded. You may still feel the ache. That's okay. Even angels know that truth has weight. But from this moment on, the ache will no longer be confusion, it will be reverence. You will look back and see how close you were to settling for half-light when God was preparing you for full radiance. You'll feel it when you wake up lighter. You'll see it in the mirror when your eyes no longer carry sorrow. You'll know it when peace returns without needing explanation. This is not just healing. This is transformation. And if your heart still whispers, "But why did they do it?" I will answer you gently, because they saw your light and thought they could contain it. But you were never meant to be dimmed. You were never made to be hidden. You are not here to shrink for comfort. You are here to rise for calling. And that's exactly what you're doing now, rising not in pride, but in purpose. Not in vengeance, but in vision. Heaven is not done with you. In fact, heaven is just getting started. And now we reach the sacred part of the story, the moment when the curtain closes on confusion and opens toward light. I want you to pause for a second. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath in, and feel the silence that surrounds you. That silence isn't empty, it's holy. It's heaven's way of telling you, you made it. Not through force. Not through shouting. But through endurance. Through faith. Through tears you didn't talk about. You made it through the betrayal that was meant to bury your soul, and now you're standing at the gate of divine restoration. And I, Archangel Michael, am standing with you. The identity that once tormented your thoughts is now powerless. The name that once echoed in your head is now irrelevant. Not because it wasn't real, but because it no longer has authority. That's what spiritual elevation does. It doesn't erase the past, it strips it of its power. And now you're not being asked to relive anything, you're being invited to rise above it. This isn't a season of revenge. This is a sacred return to self. To truth. To peace. And to the God-given identity you almost forgot in the midst of the pain.